I think we're consuming more lives than we're actually living. And the weird part is, we don't even notice it anymore. You wake up, check your phone, watch somebody's morning routine, watch somebody else's workout, see somebody traveling somewhere you've never been, watch a guy building a business from his laptop, watch a couple having a perfect relationship, and maybe you watch a streamer play games for 3 hours. And eventually you put your phone down and realize you haven't actually done anything. You've just watched other people do things. And I'm not saying that like I'm above it. I'm absolutely guilty of this. Sometimes I'll spend an hour watching someone else's life and somehow feel exhausted afterward, which is ridiculous when you think about it. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't build anything. I didn't even leave my chair. But somehow I feel like I've lived an entire day. And I think that's where this gets dangerous. Because consuming somebody else's life gives you a weird little taste of experience without actually requiring you to experience anything. You can watch someone travel to Japan without ever leaving your room. You can watch someone become insanely fit without working out. You can watch someone start a business without taking a single risk. You can watch somebody fall in love, get married, have kids, move into their dream house, all from a screen. And your brain doesn't always care that you're watching. It still gets the story. It still gets the emotion. It still gets the excitement. And that's probably why it's so easy to keep consuming. There's always another video, another episode, another podcast, another person's story, and there's nothing inherently wrong with any of that. Entertainment is great. I love entertainment. But at some point, you have to ask yourself a pretty uncomfortable question. How much of my life am I spending watching other people live theirs? Because there's a difference between being inspired by someone's life and using their life as a substitute for your own. And I think social media has made that line incredibly blurry. You don't just see what your friends are doing anymore. You see thousands of people doing things every single day. Someone is always traveling. Someone is always getting rich. Someone is always getting married. Someone is always getting shredded. Someone is always starting a company. Someone is always accomplishing something. And you're sitting there watching all of it from the same chair. After a while, your own life can start feeling boring simply because you're comparing it to everybody else's highlights. And here's the part that really gets me. Sometimes watching other people do something gives you the emotional satisfaction of doing it yourself. You watch a fitness video and suddenly feel motivated. You watch a business podcast and feel ambitious. You watch someone making art and suddenly feel creative. You watch a travel vlog and feel like you've been somewhere. For a few minutes, you get the feeling of progress without actually making any progress. And that's a dangerous feeling because it doesn't feel like procrastination. It feels productive. You're learning, you're getting inspired, you're researching, you're preparing. But eventually you have to stop watching and actually do something. Otherwise you're just collecting inspiration like it's a hobby. And I've noticed this happens a lot with self-improvement content. You can become incredibly knowledgeable about how to improve your life while somehow never improving your life. You know how to wake up early. You know how to work out. You know how to eat better. You know how to stop procrastinating. You know how to build confidence. You know how to make money. You've watched hundreds of people explain it. At some point, more information isn't what you're missing. You're missing the experience of actually doing it. And maybe that's why people can spend years consuming self-improvement content while staying exactly where they were. Because watching someone else change is much safer than changing yourself. There's no rejection, no embarrassment, no failure, no uncertainty. You just sit there and absorb. And the moment you actually try something, suddenly you have to find out whether you're good enough. That's uncomfortable. So you watch another video, and another, and another, until the day is gone. There's also something else happening here. When you constantly watch other people's lives, you start building expectations for what your own life is supposed to look like. You see the 20-year-old millionaire, the guy with the perfect physique, the girl traveling the world, the couple with the perfect relationship, the creator who turned a hobby into a career. And suddenly your normal Tuesday feels pathetic. You forget that you're comparing your entire life to carefully selected moments from thousands of strangers. You don't see their boring days. You don't see their arguments. You don't see their failures. You don't see the months where nothing happened. You see the moment worth posting. And then you look at your own life, which includes every boring Tuesday, every awkward conversation, every failed attempt, every day where you did absolutely nothing interesting, and you wonder why you don't feel as successful. But that's real life. Real life has a lot of nothing happening. That's not necessarily a problem. The problem is when you're so busy watching everyone else's highlights that you stop creating moments worth remembering in your own life. Because eventually, you can become a spectator in your own existence. You know what everyone else is doing. You know the latest drama. You know what your favorite creator said. You know what happened in the newest episode. You know which celebrity broke up. You know what some random guy on the internet thinks about relationships, money, politics, fitness, dating, success, and literally everything else. But if someone asked you, what did you do this week? You might have to think about it. And that question can hit harder than it sounds. Because your memories are built from experiences, not from things you watched other people experience. You're probably never going to remember the 100th TikTok you watched on a random Tuesday, but you might remember the day you went somewhere alone for the first time. You might remember the stupid conversation that somehow turned into a friendship. You might remember your first real failure, your first big win, the time you tried something you were terrible at, the night you stayed up talking to someone you cared about. Those things become memories because you were actually there. And maybe that's what we're losing. Not time exactly. Experience. We're filling our brains with other people's stories while leaving our own story blank. And I'm not saying you need to go out and have some insane adventure every single day. You don't need to travel the world. You don't need to start a company. You don't need to become a millionaire before you're 25. Honestly, that sounds exhausting. Sometimes living is just going for a walk, calling a friend, learning something badly, cooking something you've never made before, going somewhere you've never been, talking to somebody instead of watching somebody talk, making something nobody asked you to make. Even being bored can count, because at least you're there. You're participating. You're not just watching. So maybe the goal isn't to stop consuming other people's lives completely. That's impossible. And frankly, I don't want to live in a world where entertainment is illegal because we decided every minute has to be productive. The goal is to make sure your consumption doesn't replace your experience. Watch the podcast, play the game, watch the anime, scroll for a while, enjoy it, but then close the screen and give yourself a chance to actually have a life worth consuming. Because one day, you're going to look back and realize you don't remember most of the videos you watched. You remember the things you did, the people you met, the places you went, the things you tried, the moments where you were actually there. So maybe ask yourself something tonight. If you couldn't use your phone for a week, what would you actually have to remember? Because if the answer is not much, maybe that's not a technology problem. Maybe it's a life problem. And the good news is, you don't need to completely change your life tomorrow. You just need to start giving yourself a few moments that aren't borrowed from somebody else. Because you're only going to get one life. It would be a little tragic to spend most of it watching everyone else live theirs.